Ezgi, what are you explaining today?
Today I'm explaining why Israel has detained so many Palestinian children and how this violates international laws on children's rights. So let's dive in. 170 Palestinian children have been released from Israeli prisons as part of the Israel-Hamas hostage exchange deal that began on November 24. Many of them are boys, some as young as 14. More than 200 minors have been held by Israeli forces. Among them, 26 are being held under administrative detention, a controversial Israeli policy that allows Palestinians to be detained without charge or trial for up to 1 year. This year alone, Israel has detained nearly 880 Palestinian children. The arrest and imprisonment of minors is not unusual in Palestinian territories, but why exactly has Israel detained so many Palestinian children?
اعتقلوني وأنا عمري 16 سنة. حرموني من تعليمي، من مدرستي، من حضني لأهلي، لأمي.
Roughly 3 million Palestinians reside in the occupied West Bank, out of which 45% are under the age of 18. Since 2000, around 13,000 Palestinian minors have been arrested by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank and taken to Israeli jails where they are denied their basic rights.
Since the beginning of the Israeli occupation, children are arrested by the Israeli authorities, but the intensity in arresting children varied from one period to another. So whenever there is a tense political situation, the number of detainees, among them children, goes up. Israel is using arresting Palestinians in general as a tool to suppress and control people who are living under its occupation, regardless whether the detainees are children or adults.
Since October 7, when Israel launched its war on Palestine's Gaza, more than 145 children have been arrested by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank.
أول يوم كان في النسوان قاعدين سمعنا صوت النسوان قاعدين بنضربوا صار في عنا قمعة وتخبيط وكان بده يفوت علينا وحدة القمع بس التنظيم منعهم وضلينا من 7 أكتوبر لليوم.
The most common charge Palestinian children face is for throwing stones, an offense that can result in a 20-year prison sentence. Some other charges include offenses deemed security threats, in addition to mocking the occupation, participating in protests, political association, and even social media posts against the State of Israel. Every year, between 500 to 700 Palestinian children under the age of 18 are systematically prosecuted by the Israeli occupation in military courts, some as young as 10. Some children initially held in detention as minors subsequently face adult trials and receive lengthy prison sentences. Others are held indefinitely and never formally charged. But why charge them in a military court? In 1991, Israel ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, which states that all parties in conflict must agree not to unlawfully detain children and to prevent them from being punished, tortured, and subject to cruel treatments. Despite this, it is the only country in the world that prosecutes children in military courts, a process that rights groups say fails to meet international juvenile justice standards and is in violation of the Convention on the Rights of the Child.
It's all about discrimination through the existence of two legal systems that are operating in the same geographical area at the same time. The Israeli military legal system, which is applicable to Palestinians who are living under Israeli occupation, and the Israeli civilian system, which is applicable to Israeli citizens, even those who are living illegally in the occupied territories like Israeli settlers.
During their detention and interrogation, many of the children are subjected to inhumane treatment, including strip searches, being slapped and beaten, and being verbally and emotionally abused, and are often deprived of essential needs like food, water, and sleep.
The Israeli interrogators use different types of ill treatment and torture in order to extract confessions from Palestinian children.
الاعتقال كان مش منيح ومش بس إلي لكل الأسرى كمان وبالأخص من 7-10 دخل علينا كل يوم قمعة كل يوم يدخلوا يضربونا كل يوم يستفزونا في أغاني وفي ناس اتكسروا هناك والأسرى بتعذبوا هناك.
More than 6,000 Palestinian children have been killed since Israel began its latest offensive on Palestine's besieged Gaza, dubbed a graveyard for children by UN Security General Antonio Guterres.
بدي ارجع على دراستي وبديش تكمل حياتي وتتعلم، بدي انجح، بدي ارجع زي اول.